All right, check it out. I gotta do this quick video because I'm just so impressed with nature right now. I've been picking tomatoes for about 20 minutes. I started on that plant and I'm nowhere near being done on it. I moved to another plant just because there was a lot more and they were easier to pick. But this tomato plant goes from that fence post over there all the way across the back of the fence to about that fence post right there. That's 16 feet across. And on a lot of the spots, like on the fence, it's just full of the tomatoes. And I have picked a lot of them off already. Like I said, I've spent about 20 minutes on this plant, just picking slowly, trying to find all of them. They're everywhere. It's like that all the way across the fence. Now over here, there's not a ton up top, but there's still some in the bottom, which takes me to this plant. I don't know what's wrong with this tomato plant. There's obviously, looks like an infestation of mites or something, probably. The spiders keep the mites as pets. They literally milk these little mites. Anyways, so here's another tomato plant. Absolutely covered in tomatoes, the whole thing. I mean, every inch of it is covered. Every and the other side's even more. Here is my carrots. Look at this thing. It comes all the way out over here. I picked a ton out of this area, but look how many green tomatoes are still in here. There are so many. It is amazing. And look, there's still hundreds of red tomatoes that I have not pulled off yet. So it's actually going to take me a while to do this. That's a separate tomato plant. It's covered in big green tomatoes. Oh, I just stepped on my plant. It's covered in these beautiful tomatoes all over it, all over the bottom. I know people let these tomato plants like grow vertically, but these are the biggest plants I've ever seen in my whole life. And I'm not even talking about like just my plants. I'm talking about anybody's plants. Look at this tomato plant. Okay. This tomato plant is it takes up about a 12 by 12. If you could draw a circle that was 12 foot in diameter, it would take up every bit of that except for this one small spot. This thing is also, and it's dying in the middle too. It's got a little bit of a problem with these beetles, but look, I've already picked hundreds of tomatoes off this plant over the last 2 weeks, hundreds, and there are hundreds and hundreds left. Every square inch of this plant is covered in tomatoes. I mean, the whole thing, tomato jam. There's probably, I don't know. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm totally blown away. Now I feel like the Israelites when they were so appreciative to Jehovah for giving them a good crop. This plant is a jalapeno plant. I've already picked most of the jalapenos off, but look, this is the fifth or sixth time that I've come out and taken most of the peppers off. Now I left a little bit more on this time because there's a lot of small ones, but so I've probably gotten, close to 100 jalapenos off this one plant, maybe 75, I don't know. There's a good 20 left on there right now, 25, so that's amazing. These two big plants right here, these three big plants are all Carolina Reapers, which I need to fertilize. This one is sick, but they've got tons of blooms on them. Those little flowers, there's just tons of them. So it looks like this plant, if these blooms turn into peppers, it will have, 100 or more of these hot peppers on it. So that's good. One more thing, because this is a long video, but this plant right here, this tomato plant goes from here all the way across back over there. This whole thing right here is a tomato plant, and it has these huge tomatoes. I've taken a lot of them off already, but it has these really big green ones. Man, when they're ripe, they turn the most beautiful red color. This one's only partially ripe, but this bush is full of tomatoes too, which is just amazing. So pretty good crop for this year. Here's some okra. This is my where I'm going to put my fall garden. It's about a 25-foot rectangle, and about 8 feet across, and then there's another one at the end of it. So, oh yeah, here's some basil. That's a basil plant. That's a basil plant. That's a basil plant. Basil plant. Basil plant. That's a mint. I think it's a chocolate mint. And there's also mint plants in here underneath, but they're pretty much taken over. Man, look at this. Look at the red in there as I pan across it. These are hot pepper plants, just serrano plants. That has a lot of serranos. And I think this is part of the tomato plant that is from over there. So it's pretty amazing.